Anuminaka.
Shall I start, Ankita?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'd like to begin by wishing everyone a beautiful morning. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome you all to the 21st session of the Sense and Sensibility lecture series, this time being on materials of meaning. Over the years, this platform has evolved into a space where we discuss, debate, and find solutions to some of the pressing challenges in the community of architecture, construction, engineering, and design. Today, in our 21st edition, we are joined by two inspiring personalities, architect Neelam Manjunath and architect Areen Attari. It actually goes back to many years ago when Areen was a student at RISV, where I first met him, and he helped us plan and execute Arcumen at RISV. And at that point, I'm sure neither he nor I thought we would come to a day where we are hosting him like this. I think our journeys have been interesting. He's followed a very interesting path, and so have we reached different places through Ethos. And Areen will be sharing insights on community-driven projects and natural building techniques. Even my association with Neelam goes back to both of us having been recently married and, in Bangalore, trying to find our positions and our paths, and we used to discuss on what we wanted to do with our lives. And here we are, I think, about 30 years hence at this session. Of course, Neelam and I have been in touch more often than Areen and I. And Neelam is going to be presenting her work on sustainability with special emphasis on bamboo. I don't think anyone needs an introduction to the quantum of work that she's done on bamboo. Together, they will explore the theme Materials of Meaning, a deep dive into the significant use of materials as a signifier that practitioners could use to express the cultural and social contexts in built environments, hence adding value and newer meanings to the material itself. This session will explore the use of expressing cultural and social contexts in built environment. And on behalf of Ethos, I would like to extend my gratitude to our institutional partners. There are a whole lot of them who are broadcasting this lecture today, Neelam and Areen. So while the number may be around 100, as I think they're at 127, we have about 14 colleges beaming it in their respective colleges, starting with Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi, Yani Zail Singh School of Architecture and Planning in Bathinda, Pilu Modi College of Architecture in Cuttack, Meghan Zuti School of Architecture, SMAF's BRIC Group of Institutes in Pune, Indubai Parekh School of Architecture in Rajkot, Sri Sri University in Cuttack, KIIT School of Architecture and Planning in Bhubaneswar, Bharatiya Vidyapeeth College of Architecture, Mumbai, Indira Gandhi Delhi Technical University for Women, New Delhi, IPS Academy School of Architecture, Indore, Mohammad Sata KJ Academy of Architecture in Chennai, Mohanlal Sukhadia University, Udaipur, and PDSS School of Architecture in Kalaburagi, Karnataka. So that's a whole list of colleges. And if we were here live, we'd probably surely give a big hand to ourselves. So I think you can do that in your respective classrooms. I think that's fantastic that you're all joining us to listen to this. Ethos Foundation's ongoing collaboration with the Rainmatter Foundation is both meaningful and significant. And this 21st edition of the SNS lecture series is a part of this continuing collaboration. Working closely across multiple initiatives, this association reflects a shared commitment to advancing climate action and embedding sustainability deeply within design, education, and practice, working from the grassroots bottoms up, really. And these efforts are already underway and currently taking shape through our on-ground projects, such as architectural surveys, the strengthening of our cause clubs where we have MOUs with different colleges, career pathways for students, and initiatives focused on empowering educators together, building sustained engagements and long-term impact beyond the classroom. So as we listen to today's speakers, let us also hold on to this question. How can each of us, as students, teachers, and practitioners, become part of this larger movement for change? Our ARCOS movement, where we are designing with responsibility, advocating for designing with responsibility, supported by Rain Matter Foundation and an Ethos Foundation initiative. Today, we have a small activity for you. Our team will share 2 Google Forms in the chat as part of our ongoing ARCOS research initiative. There's one which is a career preparedness of students, a survey which looks at how students perceive their readiness to move from education to practice. And your responses will help identify gaps, challenges, and opportunities, enabling us to shape focused conversations, mentorship pathways, and support frameworks that ease this transition. The second survey is for employers and employees on professional readiness. And we're hoping to gather insights both from the professionals and hiring firms to understand skill gaps, workplace expectations, and challenges in professional integration. These findings will help us with our initiatives that we are planning. We could look at more effective skill development and smoother alignment between education and practice. We are committed to embedding responsible design practices within the ACED community, and your participation will directly contribute to building a shared knowledge base. And hence, I request all of you to kindly fill up that form. You can do it later as well. Ankita is dropping the respective survey links in the form, and we'll be doing a lucky draw at the end of it, and 3 students and professionals will receive a copy of my book. So the team will get in touch with you to get your addresses. And I think we'll move on. Ankita, I don't think we should wait for this, but I'm going to move on to invite Anushka Parab from the University of Mumbai, who will introduce our first speaker for the day. Anushka, you here? Over to you. There she is. You'll have to unmute yourself, Anushka. So just for the information of Areen, Neelam, and the others here, we welcome students to kind of host these sessions so that they feel more engaged and involved. So even the Q&A is going to be kind of moderated by some students. Anushka, all yours.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. I'm Anushka Parab, a fifth-year architecture student from Mumbai University. It's truly an honor to welcome our guest today, architect Areen Attari, to our lecture series SNS 21.0. Areen Attari is a creative force, co-founder and principal architect of Put Your Hands Together Bio-Architects. With over a decade of experience teaching at various Mumbai colleges, he has a passion for community-driven projects and natural building techniques. Areen is a master of blending artistry with architecture, infusing each design with his joyful energy, humility, and a deep love for the craft. Known for his hands-on approach, especially with materials like bamboo and earth, Areen turns every project into a collaborative adventure. His belief in making the most of life's offering is reflected in his work, and he inspires his team to embrace this philosophy. Please join me warmly welcoming architect Areen Attari, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for that introduction. Hi, everyone. Is this my cue to continue, or are you going to introduce everyone and Neelam as well?
Ankita, we're doing Neelam's before Neelam speaks, right?
Yes, yes. You can continue,
Go
Areen.
ahead.
Okay, cool. I'm wondering what format. Like I have a presentation ready with some of my work put on that I can share, and I'm seeing 207 participants here, and each of them have so many other students. So for me, that's a great it's a great honor to be here, and it's a great honor to be able to speak about my work and what we do. Um, my thought is I'm gonna run through my presentation, not spend too much time on it, and just quickly explain a bit about what we do. And I am very happy to engage more in like conversation. This work is can be seen online at some point of time on our website or on Instagram, etc. Um, so
I think the students sitting there would love to see visuals also. So don't.
Yeah, no, no. I'm gonna show some.
Yeah,
I'm gonna share screen right away, and then
lovely.
yeah.
So let's put your hands together for.
Screen's visible, right?
That's a clever name, I said, Areen. Yeah, we can see
Oh,
the screen.
thank you. Yeah, I'll share a bit about the name and about how we started. So we started our company's called Put Your Hands Together Bioarchitects. When we started off, I'm one of the co-founders, and so what we say is that we are a bioarchitectural firm that designs within the ecosystem, engages with community, and builds with local and natural materials. When we started, we were five of us, four of us batchmates, really good friends, and then the other one is my brother who was our senior. And then we were just like having some fun. Basically, we were like, okay, we really enjoy each other's company. We want to figure a way out to sort of practice together. So what we would do is we would go, on the weekends to someone's home or someone's farm, and then we would just source some materials. And if you see on the left hand side, that's me when I was younger and had a lot more hair. And basically we would just get together and we would try and use some tools and build hands-on. So we did a lot of hands-on building.
I'm not sure, Ankita, am I wrong? Areen's presentation's moving. I'm seeing.
No, no,
Yeah,
no.
Areen,
We
it's
are
stuck on the
only.
first
Sorry,
slide.
my bad. Let me, I don't know why that happened. Let me try. Let me do this again. Sorry. Visible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So yeah, we started by doing a lot of hands-on work ourselves, and then we decided, okay, we want to start our own practice. We started something. We were very clear that all the kind of work we do, we wanted to be socially positive work, wanted to have a positive impact on people's lives and on the people who use it and experience it. So we would travel, you can see Shavir, he's one of the co-founders entering a cockpit, us doing workshops. This is us in rural India, documenting, talking to people, learning about these materials. Basically, we decided that, look, this is what we want to do, and we want to have fun doing it. And then we just started. This is a bit about how we what we say where we manifest and how we manifest. This is actually our studio. It's a gif of how our studio functions. And what we do is we say that we celebrate, we collaborate, we rejuvenate, we hibernate, we innovate, we ideate, and we create. So our studio is a really fun place. It's located in Bombay, and we do a lot of different things. On the left, you can see we had an exhibition, and on the right, it's a set design for a play. So we make that in house. And we have a lot of fun in that. So our studio, we do architectural projects, we do interiors, we do workshops, community driven projects, set designs and publications and things like that. And then we started mapping the kind of impact we've had over the years. And now it's expanded slightly beyond India as well. And then we've tried to sort of put completed projects, ongoing projects, and initial learning. So initial learnings, I was in like rural Bihar, learning about bamboo as a construction material, working on a flood rehabilitation project. And so you can see since we were Bombay based, there's a lot more, projects around Bombay. Um, and I'll explain a little bit about our thought process through this one project in particular. It's a homestay in Manali. So when I went to site for the first time, it was like covered in snow, and you had these large boulders on site, and you can see, and these trees are actually not dead trees, and they're apple trees that have shed their leaves. And the kind of contextual architecture that exists now, the new architecture is it's really for lack of better words, poor in terms of design, aesthetic, and experience. And if you see this one here, it's an example of Katkuni architecture, more vernacular, understanding its materials, using materials that are available on site. So what we did is we identified some of these boulders. There were several of them, and what we did is we harvested some of them into our building blocks. So we got the locals to come in to actually wedge these boulders in a certain way and break them down eventually into these building blocks. And then we retained some of the boulders and we built around it. So not most, actually all of our primary building materials, so the foundations, the walls, everything was sourced from that very site itself. So for me, this is a huge achievement when you're able to source material from the site itself and you're able to work around it, and create spaces of value. This is something that I look forward to doing in my practice. So this is one of the rooms. You can see the boulder is part of the room over here. All these walls are all stone, 18-inch thick stone walls. This basin was even handcrafted out of stone by our project architect at that time. And you can see some of the boulders that we've retained here, and actually to create like a walkway. So it's a small like representation. So one of the boulders, huge one, it served perfectly as the walls of our ground floor, and then perfectly as the landing for our first floor actually, because it was a little flat at the top. Um, this is another project now in Ahmedabad. So now you can see how the context feeds into our design strategies. You see a lot of perforations in these walls. So this is a compressed stabilized earth block project, the walls. And essentially what we've done is we've created like a double skin. So the small openings in the perforation in this jali allow for the wind to that comes in to cool down slightly. And what it does is that it doesn't allow any direct sunlight to fall on the inner spaces. So the heat is, quite harsh in Ahmedabad. And so we need to think of these strategies that, while you adapt your design for context, essentially. So this is like a home. There were also wind catchers that we incorporated. I don't think they're being used properly right now, the wind catchers, but they're wind catchers that meant to, harvest wind. This is another project just outside of Bombay in a place called Neral. So it's an agro-tourism center. So the idea of this place is, they get people to come in and experience living what it's like to live closer to nature and living the farmer's life, as such, to understand how your food is grown, how it gets how it reaches from farm to table, essentially. And so they wanted like a space for people to stay, an additional space for people to stay. So we made these like pond houses, half in water, half on land. And this is the space from the inside. So what you see on the top over here, it's a technique called shallow domes. It's a specialized technique from Rohtak in Haryana. So we had people coming down. So in this case, yes, not local, but it's still an artisanal skill, that very few people know in India. It's if you ever get the opportunity to learn about this technique and to see this technique happening, it's phenomenal because typically a dome is like round, and from in its geometry it's like a sphere, right? In this case, it's like a flattened sphere, so you're really not seeing much depth to it. If you see, it appears flat, and it is relatively flattish. And they do this without any form work, and they do this starting in four different corners just by visual knowledge. So it's essentially a slab, but there's no steel at all, right? So there's no concrete, there's no steel, it's just mortar and bricks. And so it's something that we try and use whenever we can as a technique. And if you see the flooring here, it's all Kota flooring. These are oxide finishes. So it's nothing that's meant to. We're trying to be as honest as we can with our usage of material. And again, compressed stabilized earth blocks. Another project outside of Karjat. So you can also see some of our evolution thought process, how we work. This project had like a very interesting challenge. So we in section, so if you see on the photo on the right, there's a ground floor here and then a first floor above it. But the first floor here is the ground floor on this side. So it's like a contour plot, and we've tried to work with the contours, to create space. Again, this compressed stabilizer block. So this time we tried one step further. What we did is that
Kept it in
in
the
this
middle.
belt actually of Maharashtra, you get laterite stone. You get these quarries where they cut laterite stone. So laterite is a red color stone that you find in the eastern and western coast of India. And if you cut it, it creates a lot of dust, and at the quarries. So what we did is we went to the quarries, we sourced this dust, and then we took the basalt stone dust, which is called M sand, and we combined these two materials to create our own, proportion of these compressed stabilized earth blocks. And all the finishes inside are, lime plaster. Lime is a very, very beautiful material. It's cement is made from lime, and actually lime gets stronger and stronger over 40 years, absorbs carbon dioxide as the years pass. Another project of ours just outside of Hyderabad. This has like a courtyard in the center, which is meant to be like like a mini forest. This is like the clients are very vastu, specific in terms of needing all their requirements. And for me, again, this is a great achievement because a lot of people talk about vastu being a hindrance, and vastu, especially architects, that oh, you can't design, your creativity is stifled. But if you are just sensitive to to the environment, to the context, to what you are creating to the users, then you can create things of value. That's the beauty of it. So this is the living room. All right. And essentially what we've tried to create, on the left is the swimming pool, and on the right is that forested courtyard. And the idea is to like when you are in this living room, you experience the scale, so the volume of this living room, but also you experience being in nature, between green and water, between the trees and water. And that sort of, for me, there's a sensitivity to these kind of experiences that elevates your use of space. Another project outside of Bombay, this is meant to be a proper farm house. We made this using a combination of bamboo and upcycled wood. So all the wood that's in use, which is the flooring wood, the some of the doors over here. This is like a sliding folding panel. All this wood has come off ships. So they've been seasoned. This bamboo is like treated bamboo, Bambusa balcoa, which is one of the strongest species of bamboo that you have in India. And these roofs are meant to actually come really low down. So it's just 1 meter over here between veranda and the roof, because of the kind of horizontal lashing rain that you get in Alibag. So you're meant to use the veranda. The veranda is actually it's come up as a protection, and then it became a cultural space. But it was initially meant to protect your home. So that's what we try to do. And this is the eastern side, so it's a little less rainfall from here, so we could make an opening, so you can walk in. And primarily this opening, the cutout on the roof, is just so that you don't hit your head. But you can see how low this is, and everywhere else on the western side, for example, it's just meant to protect you. um, so we have a strong aspect of community projects. This is in Nepal. The earthquake hit. My friends and me went to volunteer and help another friend of ours over there, to create some transit camps and things like that for people in need. And then what we did is we collaborated with another friend who um, really wanted to create a proper structure over there. So we went and stayed there for like 3 to 4 months in a village, far away from Kathmandu, working with the locals over there to create this sample home. So what we did is, if you see the ground floor of the sample home is using the materials of the region, in the sense what they know already. So they know how to use stone and mud mortar. All right. Now the issue in this case was that the stone blocks are a little small, and to resist an earthquake, when the earthquake hits, you need some sections of the stone that are a little larger, particularly the corners, because most of the energy goes towards the corners. So if you see the corners here, we've tried to imitate a technology called sur dunga. Sur is literally like sur, and dunga is like the stone. So the corner is like spoken about in this poetic manner. And we had to recreate this though in like concrete. So the cornerstones are, and some of them are stones, some of them are concrete, and then the rest is the same technology that they had. So we're taking their technology, we're adding some value to it and an addition to it, and we're telling them that, look, you can work with these materials if you want to. It's not something by force, but you can use your own materials to create an earthquake resistant home. And everything above on the first floor is made out of bamboo, wattle and daub, as a feature. Wattle and daub was also the walling system for the Alibag project, the one before this, with bamboo. And so wattle and daub is really, really simple. It's like split bamboo, weaved together, and then plastered with earth. So we got the whole village to come in and contribute to this, and eventually we got an award for it from Hutco, I think in 2017, I'm not mistaken. We tried to create a bamboo wattle and daub toilet. Actually, we did create it in the Sanjay Gandhi National Park, which is a forest in Bombay. The women had to travel kilometers into the jungle to use facilities. They didn't have any facilities for them. So we created this in association with an NGO. And then we sort of do space design for people who are working with community, so community design agencies and NGO and architectural practice in Bombay, and they run something called the Govandi Arts Fest. It's meant to celebrate the arts and crafts of people who live in difficult settings and difficult environments. So we try and create the spatial support by creating the spatial design, and if you see these stands made out of bamboo and things like this. Along with that, we are trained, and I'm a facilitator in something called Warriors Without Weapons. It's a program in Brazil. It's a 25-day program that's highly intensive in terms of transformation and focusing on creating the world that we dream of. So it was started by this institute, and NGO was started by 6 architects who were fed up with the way the practice was running, young people, and they created their own method of practice with a focus on transformation, and not just transformation from a critical lens. So as architects, we are trained to be so critical, right? You are trained to enter a space and look at everything and say, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, that is wrong. I'm a champion at doing that. All right, I've been a teacher for a while. I can look at a student's sheet and immediately tell you where the errors are, things like this. This program invites you to do something different. This program invites you to approach transformation through a lens of abundance, a lens of beauty, a lens of love. All right, so it's one of my most favorite programs, one of the most transformational things I've done in my entire life. I did this first in 2012, and I've gone back several times to Brazil to facilitate this program as well. Um, so this methodology is called the ELOS methodology, and one of the tools that they have is something called the Oasis game. And Oasis game has these 7 steps. So one is gaze. You learn to see abundance where many see scarcity. Then you have affection, to create affection before fear and judgment. You dream. So you ask people what are their dreams. So you to value dreams as the best impulse for change. Care, to design projects and taking together, taking care of a common dream. So you invite the community in care, and you actually do like a model making session to design with the community something that they dream of. And then you have the miracle, which is to work hands-on and actually make that happen. So some of the photos you're seeing over here is all the people from the community coming together and like creating the things that they dreamed of. This is like a herbal garden. These are play spaces for children that they're creating over here. This is like a small stage. And then you have the celebration. You celebrate your achievement that you've done, and then you re-evolution. So what's next? How do you take this forward? You see these photos, this is all this that you're seeing, including all the wall paintings, the slides, the swings, all of these things, they're like achieved in 3 days of work. All right, just 3 days. And you can see what it was before on the left, and then what you see on the right. But these 3 days are a culmination of this entire process that needs to be followed to be able to create it, right? So this is a huge part of what work we do. um, this is some of our current ongoing projects, design phase, about execution phase, etc. This is an alternative education center called the Learning Center in Goa. It breaks free from the realms of formal education. It engages with people in a more and children in a more fruitful way and a more fruitful manner, where marks and pressure and exams and all of this are not the drive behind learning. So this is going to be built in a technology called Hyper Adobe and Bamboo. Hyper Adobe is essentially using netted bags, using the correct mix of earth and then compacting them, and you can create a lot of different types of forms. Another project of ours which is undergoing construction in outside of Bombay, again in Neral. This is again using compressed stabilized earth blocks. So compressed stabilized earth blocks, that in this is not done locally, these compressed stabilized earth blocks. But still, for us, if we are able to use it anywhere, it's great. And then we try and like keep our layouts in a manner where again you respect the site. You try and honor what the site speaks. Um, Another one of our projects is we're pushing the boundaries slightly in terms of our of what we're trying to create. This is going to be also compressed stabilized earth blocks, also like a second skin. We use a lot of filler slabs if we have to use concrete. So we keep trying to experiment. And this is going to be in like Pune, in a city. So for us, it's another achievement to be able to do it in an urban setting. Yeah, so that's a bit about us and our work. Um, this is our Instagram. This is a book that we written about ourselves, and about our journey, and our website. You can have a look at it. We are, we're constantly evolving and growing as a studio. We keep looking at architecture as a response to community needs, to material needs, to the site. We talk a lot about what does the site speak to us, right? I'm a strong believer that the site has lots of information to reveal intuitively, logically, in many, many different ways. And so the idea is to try and be as sensitive to that, and to create spaces of beauty that are, when you enter some of these spaces, there should be comfort, there should be sukoon, there should be a feeling of peace, of calm. We're not trying to create architecture that's overpowering, that's ego driven. Yes, I have a huge ego, and I want to cater to my ego in different ways, but not through my architectural expression. My architectural expression is intended to, create peace. At least that's what I'm striving and trying to achieve. Okay, thank you very much for listening. I'm very happy to answer any questions now or later if anyone does have them.
Excellent. Wonderful green spaces. Pateria, really very thrilled to hear you.
Thank you so
It
much.
brought me back a lot of my memories. Thank you.
Thanks,
Namaskar.
Jason, for joining in. It's always such a delight to have you there. We'll have the Q&A at the end, Areen, if that's okay. That's how it's been planned. So I think it was like Jason just said, extremely thought-provoking and refreshing. Your hands-on approach to architecture, talking about the issues that are plaguing it, how youngsters can come together, make change happen. talking about community-driven thinking, natural building techniques. And what was interesting is how your work has traveled to different parts of India and the world. You're talking about Katkuni on one side, you're talking about, picking up things from Manadabi in Bihar, the way you blend artistry with materials like bamboo and earth, while keeping collaboration at the center of the process was inspiring and grounding. I'm sure all the young minds attending this would be, taking back a lot from you, Areen. I'd like to invite Sahil Sawant next from School of Environment and Architecture, Mumbai, to introduce our second speaker for the day. Sahil?
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Thank you, Geeta ma'am. And thank you, Areen sir, for sharing your work with all of us. And yeah, moving to good morning, everyone. This is Sahil Sawant. I'm a fifth year student from School of Environment and Architecture, Mumbai. It's truly honored to welcome our second guest, architect Neelam Manjunath, to our SNS 21.0 Materials of Meaning. Architect Neelam Manjunath is an architect, planner, academician, scientist, activist, and theoretician. She has been practicing since 1991 under the name Manasaram Architects. Her architecture is distinguished for sustainability with special emphasis on bamboos. Her work has been published widely and presented at several national and international forums. She has conducted and participated in several exhibitions globally, including the prestigious International Architectural Venice Biennale 2016, and has been running structured courses on bamboo since 2011 for various levels. She's a World Bamboo Ambassador and has won several national and international nominations. In our school, we discuss a lot about how she caters to all three faculties of man: physical, psychological, and spiritual. Phys- and using five elements, that is the Panchamahabhutas of sun, soil, air, water, and space, and materials that are within reach. Please join me in welcoming architect Neelam Manjunath.
Thank you. Thank you, Sunny. Thank you, Geeta, so much for inviting me to this platform. It's an honor and it's lovely to meet you again after a long time. Morning, sir. Jason, sir. Honored to have you here. Yes. Yeah. And students, and I think Areen, your work was wonderful. I think all of us from our generation think now that architects like you are going to carry our works forward. So I'm really happy about that. Really. Okay, so I'll start my presentation and okay. And I will be working, I'll be speaking more on bamboo itself and not touch the other materials today, because then from the beginning. Yeah. Okay, you can see my screen?
Yes, good to go.
Yeah. So I think that topic, Let's Build with Bamboo, is also the name of my book. And it is almost like you are being invited to build with bamboo. And that's how that name came into the picture. One second. Just a moment. Something is, just a moment. Just a moment. Yeah. So, God, sorry. So for me, the working with bamboo actually started with the search for environmental issues and how to solve them, because from the very was quite, and I will go faster because I have lots of slides to show, and it's more like my journey with this material, which I would like people to see as to how things have evolved with me. In 99, when probably at that time I was the only architect working with bamboo and started, but I just missed Vinu Kale by a whisker. Unfortunately, I could never meet him. He died the same year that I started working with bamboo. And so for me, it is more about people environment. I mean, people, planet, profit are the things that actually, that is how I had been delving into this material bamboo. And if we look at the kind of work that we all do for, as a green building materials, and vis-a-vis the amount of pollution that we do, more than 40%, is actually not even 5% that we are trying to do with the green materials. And that's where the search for these materials actually started. And we also look at the housing deficit. We all know India is now the most populous country in the world, and in the whole of in the next probably 50 to 100 years, most of the construction will take place. I think there's something happening. I don't know why, so I will not get into the slide share mode. I will, 1 second, just give me a moment. I will. Sorry about that. So I will put my slides that like this itself. I'm hoping that should be fine. Yeah. And so this is so there's also about something nature gives you naturally. When you say, we talk about looking at site. So there's a global distribution of bamboo and there's a population density, which are directly related. And this is nothing. Providence is one thing, but it's like nature. So it's like a subtropical bamboo grows in the tropics, subtropics, and subtemperate zone. And that's where the maximum population is there, because most of the civilizations prospered in that same belt. And in all these belts, bamboo is grows in abundance. And is something, no, why it's not moving? Can somebody help me here quickly?
Ma'am,
1 second, huh? Yeah. I don't know what's. What is this happening here? No, it should not
share the entire screen. That will be very easier.
See, I have this whole thing now.
Yeah, but if you share the entire screen, it will be easy.
1 second. Never happened like this. This is the thing.
Entire screen. Just share the entire screen so it will be visible. So then whatever you do, the entire screen will be shared.
No, it's not like that. I've always done this before.
I'm just check it and say.
It should be working. I mean, it works instantly getting.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah, it's working sometimes suddenly it's going. Okay. Bamboo is also very cultural. I'm extremely sorry for this this one glitch. So bamboo is also very much cultural. As I said, since we all have been working with bamboo for such a long time, our civilizations have grown with this particular material. And this has been used in Asia, Latin America, and it is all these, for centuries together. God. Just give me 2 minutes. Second. Again, it has got stuck. See?
Yeah.
Do you
No,
have
no,
a link to
they're
the
coming, but
presentation, Neelam? We can share it from our end.
should I give you the link?
Yeah, you could share it with the Ankita. Ankita has been coordinating with you, and Ankita can.
Huh?
Screen is visible.
Oh, screen visual is getting stuck every time. See
Yeah.
again.
Okay, Michelle, screen share.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. And can you just share me this PPT so I can just share it and you just tell next.
PPT is like, it's a huge PPT.
Mm. I'm sorry. Should we proceed with the Q&A with Areen until then, Ankita, till Neelam sorts this out?
Yes, ma'am, that'll be
Great.
good.
You want to, Ramya, you want to intervene and take that forward?
Shivani,
Shivani, yeah,
I'll
Shivani.
moderate that.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
who that. Shivani, all yours, yeah.
So hi everyone. So we'll continue with the Q&A. So over a form, we had received a bunch of questions from across India for our speakers, and yeah, we'd like to take a few of those questions. So few of these questions are of course directed to a specific speaker, and few both.
Let's go
Areen
with the ones directed to Areen, and when Neelam comes back, we can go back to the presentation. Okay, just take the ones that are directed to Areen.
Yeah, sure. Sir, one of the questions is from Grace Ansika. She's a faculty member, and the question is that how do you convince a client about using a local material?
Okay, thank you for this question. I don't convince them to use local material. I am very clear about, what I'm doing and what I want to do, what process I follow. This is now very clear. It took us a long time to establish this. All right. So we started straight after graduation. I have never worked as such in an office or another studio. I did my internship in rural Bihar, and then we came back, started our practice. So it took us a long time to set the standard by saying, look, this is what we are doing, and this is the way we're going to do it, and this is our value system, these are our beliefs, these are our principles. If you resonate with these principles and you want something like this, then we are your people for you. If you don't resonate with this, I'm not going to sit and convince you why you should be using this material. Maybe between like two materials of something local and natural, if there's a choice between a technology like rammed earth versus compressed stabilized earth block versus say bamboo, then I'm ready to enter a discussion in terms of debating which is the most appropriate material for our use. All right, but I don't convince people. I feel like convincing um, it's something I had to do maybe when I was younger. And do it particularly because people have doubts about it, but I don't convince them. My work speaks now for itself, you know. So yeah, that's the
So maybe since there are a lot of youngsters here, you can go back a bit in time and talk about when you did convince them, because now I know you have that luxury not to,
Sure.
you don't need to, but
Okay.
yeah. So
Fair
that
point.
I think that's important in the initial years, at least, if you want to stick to this field, right?
Yeah. So again, I think the straight up it was we were very clear. We are doing this kind of work. If you want to do this kind of work, then we'll do it for you. So we didn't take up interior projects. We didn't take up any commercial projects. We didn't do any typical forms of construction. We lost a lot of projects. We lost a lot of money. We didn't make any money in the first few years. We were lucky to not have to immediately provide for our families in that sense. So we could spend a little time exploring and focusing on creating architecture of value. um, I guess in terms of convincing, the major challenges that people have, or major questions that they have, is the durability and the strength of such materials. And I think that's something that we answered a lot when we were younger. Now as well, people are, they're like, oh, but if it rains, won't it melt? Things like this. And well, it's true, rain does affect an earthen building, and it can weather the building. But if you use the correct technologies, if you use the appropriate strategies of design, which is how we answered them, saying that, look, everything has a purpose, and if you design it smartly, if you work with the climate, these are materials that can last you for a long time. And we would give examples of the Great Wall of China. Some parts of the Great Wall of China are built in rammed earth. Then we would sort of get lots of different examples that we would study on the internet, or we would have researched and traveled. One of the most important things I would tell you, when we were young and trying to convince, say, clients, was, if we had a project in a particular region, one of our key elements was to spend a week or so studying the vernacular architecture of that region. All right. So we would study the vernacular architecture of that region, and then we would present to the clients what our findings were, saying that, look, it's designed in this manner, where there are three bays in terms of its layout. It's designed in a manner where the roofs come really sloping down. It's designed in this manner. These are principles that we need to adapt. So these then become easy to tell your client that these are strategies that are age old, that have been evolved through trial and error, and that they work. All right. So if you're able to do this, I think you need a little bit of open-mindedness from your clients. I'm not gonna deny that you need clients to be excited about it. I would say, if they're not excited about it, then that convincing is a waste of time.
I remember way back when I had just started my career path in 1991, and we were working in a slum in Bangalore. I remember actually taking a small, not really a busload, but a small cohort of slum dwellers to one of Jason's projects where he had used stabilized mud blocks.
Okay.
To say that even rich people build with stuff like this, and it's okay. It's not something that you need to adopt because you are from a particular financial segment of society.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There are a lot of questions coming in, Areen. If you can respond on the chat, take some of them on the chat as we go. Neelam, are we good to share screen?
I'll send the PDF to Ankita.
Okay, Ankita, let us know if it works. If it
Should be
does, then we
working.
can move from there.
I'm sorry, it never happened to me before, and
No problem.
in this program it's happened for the first time. Ankita, are you sharing?
Agreeing to wanting to volunteer with you and so on. So
Give me 2 minutes, ma'am. I'm
bunch of people. So we can take one more question in that meanwhile,
Yeah,
Shivani.
sure. Yeah. There's a student, Tejasvi Saha. She has a question that how do you balance sustainability matrix with cultural relevance when local materials may not always meet the modern performance standards?
It's a very complicated question that I don't think I understand. What is sustainability matrix?
Uh,
Maybe we can, is the student here?
Yeah, for which the student needs to be here.
yeah.
So Shivani, always pick the ones that you're able to tackle
Yeah.
as well.
Because sometimes there's a lot of architectural jargon that we love
Jargon,
to
yes.
Yeah.
to debate about, but let's hit the point. So if the student's here, I would happily invite the student to, if she can talk, and we can discuss that.
Yeah. Tejasvi, are you here?
I think you can move on to the next question.
Yeah, sure.
If Ankita is ready, then.
So there's one more question. It's from Megha Patil. She's a student from DY Patil College of Engineering and Technology. She's asking, what is the one material decision, say, in your career that changed the social outcome of a project or of more projects, one or more projects that you've done?
What is the one material that you say?
That changed your entire journey, for example, or that has been a change in the way you work. What is that one material for you through your entire?
I would have to say bamboo because when I finished my um, so I was in my third year of architecture, studying in Rizvi College. Met Geeta. We would meet every now and then Rizvi College of Architecture had a director back then called Akhtar Chauhan, and he spoke a lot about creating sustainable humane habitats, and a lot of it was, in the college he spoke about it and he tried to inculcate it with students and people, but not everyone was picking it up. But some of our friends and us, we were a little intrigued by this. And then as we started learning about, like, fourth year construction and building construction and high rises and stuff like this. And honestly, it didn't interest me at all. I felt it to be like very, very driven towards a real estate development methodology. So all the things that we had, discussed in first, second, third year in terms of creating an architectural practice of value, suddenly in the fourth year, it's all warped. So I was a little, clear that, look, any kind of architecture I want to do, I want to have a positive social contribution through my architecture. I was very clear about this. And so I got an opportunity to go to South Africa for a exchange program called Global Studio. And I was like, okay, we're going to create some positive impact. Again, there was an itch in me, and that itch was not satisfied there. It felt like there was more academic and less hands-on. So I felt like, okay, I wanted something more. So I came back to Bombay. Now it was the end of fourth year, and we had to do like our internship for fifth year. But I was in no hurry, because for me it was like, I will find the work that I want to do, and only then will I choose that work. I'm not going to compromise, doing it for anything else. So I believe I must have graduated in like 6.5 years. I took my time at this point of time. I searched for the correct place for me, and then I found that in Bihar they were working on flood rehabilitation, and I was like, okay, great, I'm going to go there and I'm going to start this work with flood rehabilitation. And then eventually I went there, and like this really rural part of Bihar, and turns out that it was bamboo. There was a lot of bamboo over there, and so I started learning about bamboo, and you could say that was my first sort of direct interaction with a sustainable material. But it's evolved a lot since then.
Interesting that you talk about things happening by chance to you. I often talk about that as well. If you were in the right place at the right time and right things
Absolutely.
happened, and hence
Correct.
we crafted a career the way we did. But I'm hoping that there are many more avenues for the youngsters today.
For sure. Yeah.
How are we doing, Neelam? I'm just going to
From CGBMT, we have shared the screen now.
Yeah,
So
you can go ahead now.
Next.
Presentation.
Yeah, so this is the already spoken. So please go ahead. Change. Yeah, next. So we have a lot of traditional wisdom which is available in terms of bamboo and across the place. As you can see, the variety, and this is something which is very true of all the natural building materials that people build with, that they actually address the context of the climate and the site and the way and the material. Even if I say bamboo, there are 176 kinds of bamboo that are available, and in India also we have many even species and things like that. So, and everyone, every region, every climatic region actually responds to it in a different manner. Can we go next? We also have examples of double-story buildings with bamboo. The one on the left that you see on the top is from Devanahalli in Bangalore, and that is almost like 200 years old building in Devanahalli, inside Devanahalli Fort itself. Some other buildings are from Himachal Pradesh, and there are lots of people who are actually working even with double-story buildings. Next. Bamboo actually addresses lots of these kinds of things, as I told you in the beginning. For me, environmental was the major issue, driver when I started using bamboo in the beginning. And then slowly it began to many other things, because SDG goals don't just say about environment, because it's a very systemic process and everything is connected. So society, culture, and if you can see here, right from good health, because bamboo for ecology, when you have is much more oxygen, and then you also have clean water, because bamboo cleans the water. It also absorbs a lot of water in its roots, so it also gives you that. So even bamboo, plantations have a lot to do. And there are all these other, I will not go again in lot of detail, but there are several things to speak about bamboo. So you can see it in so many of these sustainable development goals. It addresses so many of them. Next. There's one, this is more like a warning slide, that people have been using bamboo across the world. That's what they say, and everywhere. But if you try to process the bamboo a bit too much, and the way many people are doing, one is that you are processing bamboo to get it more durable, or to make it much more fashionable, or make it much more, and I'm so this thing to use the word Bali style and the Western style of using bamboo. This is what happens in the end. So it's not the material bamboo itself which is environmentally beneficial, unless and until you use it in a very responsible manner. Can you go to the next? So this is where I'll start quickly. And if you see my process building, and that's where everything actually started. And what was my process? Because there was nobody to guide much. There were not many buildings. There were not many documents available. And so this is the process that I've been following till date, and this is how it goes. Next. Next, yeah. I've divided the thing into different 5 years kind of a block, so that you can actually see the evolution of different types of buildings that I have done. And if you see them, it actually tells you about how in India, the evolution of architecture with bamboo, or I would say buildings with bamboo, actually literally evolved from that time. This is a 2-bedroom house in Plywood Institute. Actually, the one before was in Raj Bhavan, and that was my first project. And I got it just because I was working with many kind of eco-friendly materials, and I was working with Rajiv Gandhi Rural Housing Corporation and Karnik in Karnataka, who were working with these eco-friendly technologies. And so this project landed in my lap, and this was my first project. That's where I generally use the word called bamboo-fied for me, because almost for 3 weeks, my whole office was on the site, and we were trying to do this because on 26 January, the governor had to actually inaugurate this. So in about 2 to 3 weeks time, we finished this whole thing, and a gamut of technology that I learned from IPIRTI Institute, Bangalore, which is a prime, institute where I'm very fortunate to have learned all these techniques from them directly. Next. Keep going. And this is a prefab house way back in 2004. We went outside India as back as 2004 to do a prefab house, more like IKEA, and it was put in a container and sent. In 2004, we had this big disaster that happened. We all are aware about the tsunami. And we had this Seeds India, if you know Manu Gupta, who is running the Seeds India, and he's taken it to a very different level of disaster, management. He was a part of our, seminar that we did in Ipurti here in 2005. to talk about disaster management with bamboo, and specifically for the Andamans. And then we did this work together in the Hut Bay, Andamans in 2005. This is another project that we did in bamboo being an eco-friendly material and low energy material. So I was designing a state level energy park. So I used a lot of bamboo in there in the project as a low energy to do most of the things out there, including, bridges and house and, many things out here. Next. Please keep going. I'll have to go fast. Change the slide. Yeah. Even the inside part, if you see, it was done. This is Ashria housing. So all different kind of scales of housing that we have done. Next. Then from 2005 to 2010. Next. We did this in 2004. There was a big conference that happened, World Bamboo Congress, first time in India, in New Delhi. And DDA participated there along with me. I had presented a paper in my exhibition. And so DDA and then Biodiversity Foundation of India and University of Delhi, we did a work together with them for this biodiversity park. You can still see this bridge, and this is a public toilet that we have done. And except for the kiosk, they all are still there, though not in such a working condition, but they are there because there was no maintenance that has been done in the from COVID time, actually. Next. Next. Go to the previous slide. Previous slide. Go back. This is the first time in 2006 that I started working with shells on bamboo. No, next. Shells in bamboo, and this was a competition that we actually won, but this project never took off. And this was a police bhavan and a whole cultural center in Bangalore. Next. And as you can see, all these buildings that we did was with shells. This is a bamboo museum in Palampur. We had done with S.D. Sharma and Associate, Sangeet's father. And this is there. I think this is the only bamboo museum in India. Next. This is my house in 2008 that finished in 2008 actually. And here we used lots of mud. I combined mud with bamboo here and stone to start with a vocabulary. Next. A new kind of vocabulary for a new kind of architecture. So these are all, can you go quickly on this? There are several slides. Next. And use bamboo in different forms, flooring, roofing, mud reinforced, bamboo reinforced, cement reinforced shells, with kinds of experiments with abundant bamboo and stone in these two buildings. This is also all the material waste from my house we used to make this office, Bamboo Symphony. You must have probably heard about it. Next. These are some of the visuals of that. Next. 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 Keep going. These are all the visuals of that. And then next. And then it came to, as you can see, it is now slowly going to a little larger project that I tried to put bamboo and mud and lime and earth and all that into different kinds of projects, nationally, internationally. I participate in several competitions. Next. This was actually an exercise with the Art School of Architecture, Denmark, which we did. It's a guest house in Amritsar, done in 18 days flat with about in a charrette system, kind of a system with DDI University, Dalbagh University. Next. The Agriculture Department and a bamboo center that we have designed, though UGC is still, we are waiting for the funds for that. Next. This is the creche building that we did in 2017 for Dalbagh University with the locally available bamboo and mud and women from the local communities. Next. This is a project that we are doing in Bangalore, where my office is located. It is in the last stage now. And we have a lot of bamboo work in this actually going on at the moment. Next. This is Avalala Ecological Park, which I won the tender along with Ravi Kumar from Chennai, the landscape architect. But we are not very sure about there's some I think that we ran into a problem with the government and something like that. So I'm not very sure about the situation on the ground at the moment. This is a meta slum in a competition. We put it. This is a slum development actual project in Bangalore, where we designed a multi-storied slum development program. Doing those 300 square feet apartments, which became part of a social housing program for the cities. So this was what was actually, this has not been accepted by them, but yeah, I mean, I think this is a wonderful, way of actually having incremental kind of housing for slum people in the city. This is another tender that we have won, and then we are still waiting for the work to start on the ground. All these ran into COVID problem actually. Next. This is a very big Silparamam project with about, this is rammed earth along with 20,000 square feet of bamboo reinforced roofing that we have designed. And it has got this food court. Next. It has a 5-star convention center. It was a huge project. This was a retrofit project that we did just before the elections, and then it ran into COVID. And unfortunately, it has been hijacked from us by somebody who bribed the agriculture minister in Karnataka. And I'm very blunt to say this because it actually happened like that. In 2017, this is I'm showing in my 2020 this thing because in 2017, SOM approached us with their design and development for bamboo, using bamboo in a transportation hub in Bangalore. And they took all the informations and everything. Again, I'm very bold to say this. And then after that, it was never acknowledged. In 2022, we came to know. In 2018, actually, in Beijing, I came to know that they are doing this now. The work is going on at the moment. And so that way, just to whether they can use bamboo in the airport. And so this was the first time in India at that scale or anywhere in the world that it was being used. So that was something where that was my contribution as a material expert. Next. We did this in presentation. This is a building that was done, a pavilion, and this is a shell with mud and bamboo. Generally, people have been doing shells with bamboo because bamboo is a very kinetic kind of material and mud is a very static kind of material. So to use it like this, it was a real challenge. And this design was done at that time, and we have actually presented in 2019 at the ISS Barcelona. Next. These are the details of the project. We can see there's a local, art. Gond people have done that art in this particular project. Next. This was a workshop in India Pavilion actually for the World Bamboo Workshop. And we have done this in about 7 days time. This was done a permanent structure. Now, next, quickly, good. This is a soft skill institute at the outskirts of Bangalore that we developed just before COVID. Next. Next. It's got a lot of components actually, several different structures that we did for them. For DI Diyalbag University, we did 2 conference halls. One we have finished. This is the first one, but this could not be finished. Again, this also ran into COVID just before that, but we have finished the second one, which was 6,000 square feet. Next, can you go to the next? And this is something which is finished actually. Next. This is the finished building with 6,000 square feet of space and about 60. Can you go back? Back. Back. This is Toda 2.0. This is another project which we have started in 2019, Toda project. And next. I think the internet is slightly slow, so it moves a little slow. Next. Next. Or bring Toda to the screen, please. So this project actually is about conservation of, go to Toda project. Yeah, I'm sorry. So this is something, again, a very important project that we have won the challenge this year from the architecture in development, one of the 5 projects to be awarded, and we are trying to raise money for this through the accelerator program. And and this is something about these people are very unique people. They have a heritage in which they, with bamboo and cane, they have been making houses which last more than 25 years, and the harsh climate of hostile climate of Ooty, and very high. They live at around 2,500 meters above above sea level, and they have this kind of earths they call the houses, but they are not getting their own materials anymore because in the forest, because of deforestations and many other situations like that. And also the young generation does not want to live. So we were asked to do a project for this, and this is what we have won the program. And we are working on this. Next. Next is our School of Simple Living, CGBMT, which we are developing. The phase 1 is almost complete in this, and this is something where it's a place of belonging, what we call. This has got different kind of facilities and something for everybody there to learn. It's more like education, entertainment. So we call it edutainment kind of, that's the term that I am trying to link. Next. And this has got these various buildings details. Next. The main block which you see on the left top, that is already completed. These are another cocoon that we have completed. That is also another art space that we are doing where children actually come and do the art spaces. Next. So this is something which is completed, and we are having coming up. We have workshops out there, and you can see this very different kind of umbrella kind of a structure. We also asked to do the G20 summit exhibition design by the Ministry of Culture in Karnataka. Next. Next. Yeah. So this is the design that we did. And this is something like closing the loop for me, the Bamboo City. We launched it in 3rd December 2023, and we are still working on it. It's a very comprehensive project, and it actually links bamboo for ecology and bamboo for development together in one single project for a city. Because there are enough, yes, they contribute to GDP, yes, but they also contribute maximum to the destruction of our resources and also pollution. And that's where this project actually comes to have bamboo as a vehicle for a regenerative city, nature-based solution. And this is what this whole project is about, and we are working on it actually at the moment. Next. 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 Can we go to the next slide? Yeah, this is something which we in the Designoru, we had presented this. And I'm very happy, thankful to Triple ID who had given us one hall for the whole week, and we were able to engage with the citizens. Then we also called to Nagpur, where Honorable Minister Nitin Gadkari, actually, he was very kind enough to attend my lecture, and he said, can we go to the next slide? Yeah. And that Nagpur could be the next bamboo city is what it declared. We are hoping that we will be able to reach there in the future. Next. Next. This is a new project in Toda itself that we are doing, while the other project was waiting, and the Toda Community Center. And I am very happy that my college people are here today. And they are a part of our partners on this actually in doing this project. We have done this, we are doing this whole community center style very close to that, but including a new technology, I have been using for so many years from Plywood Institute Ipirity, which is the bamboo mudcrete. They had done bamboo-crete, and I have developed a bamboo mudcrete, design for myself, and I mean the mix, and that's what we are doing in this particular project. This is going on right now on the ground. Next. Next. Pedagogical journey, I'll quickly run through this. And so this is the courses that we have been running from 2011, and very early, I realized that we have to have people in the market if you really want to do projects, and I want other people to use bamboo in buildings. So we have been running those courses, and we are now again relaunching with a new format from 2026. Next slide. And there are different kinds of courses in there, that we have. We have several workshops we have done all over, lectures. So it all takes advocacy, different kinds of forms that we do. Next. And a pedagogy with architecture with bamboo actually involves, next slide, involves like, and I think this should be true for all kinds of architecture, not just bamboo, I would say. In this particular photograph, it's very important that there is a architect, there is a mason, there is a bamboo artisan, they're all different kinds of people. There's a tribal person trying to find a solution to an issue in my her project, which was this Artichol project. So this is very interdisciplinary learning, and also a very important part of my journey has been the recognition of prior learning of the artisans that I work with. And I'm still a student in that sense, that I would say, and I would remain like that. Next. Next. Nature is the solution. In 2020, we started this something, an add-on kind of a thing called School of Simple Living. And we are working on it to really have structured courses. Some of the courses have been developed, and we are hoping to put them out by 2026. Yeah, and this is according to the 5 elements of nature that we are trying to do. There are 5 different kinds of faculties that we will be working in. Next. Can keep going. There are lots of these that I have been doing: advocacy, speaking, lecturing, exhibition at Biennale, Venice Biennale, workshop there, book launch, and yeah, keep going, please. People visiting our place. This is an international workshop at Mulhouse in 2014. This is World Bamboo President at our place. A lot of dialogues with them. This is a global survey that I did in 2018 and presented in Mexico at the World Bamboo Congress. Yeah, the FIBRA Awards in Paris. That's the mayor of Paris, and that's we know this is Anna Heringer. And this is the World Bamboo Workshop that I had shown earlier. This is the final structure that I can see with different kind of people and lecturing there. Again, with ETIO, with rural different kinds of organizations that we have been trying to work with. This is again from G20, very different kinds of works, very rooted. Next. 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 Keep going. These are workshops. This is also a workshop at Latitude. This is in Taiwan, the book launch, international book launch. Next. Then at UIA Kuala Lumpur. Into the future that's what my project, CGBMT School of Simple Living, that you saw. These are again workshops with small children, 2 big people, and designers and architects. Next. And this is the summing of the curriculum that we are trying to do, of different miles to go. Next. There are a lot of work that still needs to be done. Next. The top photo that you see, this is my, actually, can you just go back to 1 slide? Now I have only 2 slides left now after this. So this is Anandi Lara and Gopal on the right side, who have been with me for almost 20 years. On the left, you have the professor from our School of Architecture, Denmark. And you can see the kind of confidence on the face of Anandi Lara and Gopal when he's presenting something to this guy. And this is what is attraction that I try to develop. And the bottom one, you can see the Toda people, which are very, very cultural. Only 1,200 people left, which is the recent workshop that we did at the end of 2025, and trying to teach them something that we have been learn from them and teach them. Next slide. This is my book, and it has been circulated to many schools, 450 schools in India, by Council of Architecture, and many people have brought. We have sold around 1,000 copies. It is available for everyone. Next. And this is my last slide, lessons from bamboo. Bamboo has not just given me all this, it also has given me a lot of personal growth, teaching us patience, persistence, hidden growth, because in the beginning, it takes a lot of time before it starts actually working. Faith and belief, we have to have faith in ourselves. We have to be consistent, disciplined action, even if small, is vital. Trust the process, and then there will be a sudden success one day. So it's more like working after 5 years, bamboo suddenly grows in tremendously, but till that time, the growth is very small. And that is something what it is said that in life somehow, if you have worked for 20 years, and then suddenly you become famous overnight. There are no shortcuts in life, and you have to have a lot of resilience, because bamboo is strong, bounces back quickly from the damage, teaching us to recover swiftly from setbacks. Next slide, you can see this thank you slide. When I started, it was a journey which seemed absolutely impossible, but seeing the growth of use of bamboo across the world today, I think this is what sums up. I saw things at some time, and people keep on say why, but I dream things that never were, and I say why not? And that's how I work with bamboo and other materials. Thank you so much. And I'm extremely sorry for all the glitches because of me.
Thank you, Neelam, for taking us through the journey from when you just were introduced to this material and to becoming a proponent and an advocate and a great resource that everyone looks up to as far as bamboo goes. I think it's been fascinating to see that, and I'm glad you broke it up into those 5-year slots so we could actually see the transition from one phase of life to another, and really proud of where you are today. I'm going to again open this up for questions. I think there are a whole bunch of them. Shivani, are you doing this as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Neela ma'am, this is for you. Jadhav Atharv Anand, he's a student. He's asked the question that is there a preferred method of treatment to ensure or to enhance the lifespan of bamboo when you're using it in different climates?
Sorry. Yes. So, see, basically, I started with one kind of treatment that was, that was done at Plywood Institute, IPRITI. But over the period of time, because that was done in the lab, and then when you actually go to the ground, there are many times you don't have things available. For example, I will talk about 2-3 examples. Only one is that Andamans that I went. We here in the IPRITI, they had told that you have to use this creosote oil for intranodal injection after boric borax treatment, but there it was banned. So if you understand the principle why we are treating the bamboo, then you can actually use some alternatives for that. So what we used engine oil instead of creosote oil. And that is one thing that we use when we have the columns and things that we do in the internode. And that's not everybody uses it, but I think according to me, it's one of the most effective ways. After boric borax treatment that we do by dip diffusion, which is the very widely used across the world, we take it out, we actually dry it in shade. And after drying it in shade properly, at least for 3-4 days, we do an intranodal injection in every node. And with that, we actually again turn the bamboo over 3 to 4 days, where slowly, and it is actually treats the whole place, whole this thing. And our buildings, because of that, even after 20 years on odd, which I have done now, 26 years in bamboo, working with bamboo, nothing has happened to them. And whereas if you just go for all other kinds, so this is like a change. Again, I will just come to a very recent one in Toda, that we are doing here. Toda is, if you know, it is a part, Toda community, a Toda land, what they call, is actually a part of the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. It's a UNESCO heritage site. So I did not want to use any of these chemicals out there, or even boric borax for that matter. So what I looked at how they were using for 25 years, what were they doing? And I think even in Northeast, many places, what they do is they use new bamboo and they cook food for at least a month inside the room. And the smoke treatment actually treats the bamboo fully. So now what we are doing in Uti now, in the Toda Committee Center, we are actually using all the twigs and everything and all that, and we are doing smoke treatment of bamboo. So basically, you have to make the starch inside bamboo bitter. That's the principle. Because once you make it bitter, none of the insects or anything or the bugs attacks it. So if you understand the principle, then you can actually tweak it to whichever location you want to do. And like in Europe also, many of the, chemicals, suppose they are not, they are not allowed. I mean, they are not permitted. So you have to understand the principle rather than just learning something and just copying, pasting. Especially when we are working with natural materials, it doesn't work actually. And that probably is precisely the reason why we have such less number of architects and people working with natural building materials, because you really have to be very careful, and you really need to be engaged with the material and engaged with with all these kind of things to really work. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. We have one more question from Nidhi. She's a student from Dayanand College of Architecture, Dayanand Sagar College of Architecture. She's asking if there are any particular limitations or challenges in working with bamboo.
Actually, every material has limitations, let me tell you. The only problem is when we are working with natural materials, they come unprocessed. Whereas you have steel and cement, it is processed in the industry, it is certified, it is all that, it has been done, and there's a lot of money which has been available for research and testing in the lab. It doesn't happen the same thing with bamboo and mud and this kind of things. Mud still has got a lot of work done. Bamboo still needs much more. And because of that, if you say bamboo is biodegradable, but we are using bamboo because it's biodegradable. That is the whole thing. So we don't take it as a challenge, because if you say iron or steel, everything comes from nature. What is not from nature? Cement comes from lime. So one has transformed into a form where it doesn't react to this one, I mean, other thing. That is one limitation. That is bamboo is biodegradable. It's hygroscopic. It absorbs water very, very quickly. And then, so you have to do by design, you have to design in such a way that it does not absorb water. But again, if you say all are the wooden buildings that we had done, we never put wood into the floor. There was always a stone base bottom out there. So if you really go into the depth of all these limitations, that so-called limitations of the material, people want to use bamboo as steel or mud as cement, and that's where the problem lies. Every material has got its own properties, and you have to respect them and work around them rather than trying to work, like compare. Because steel also cannot compare with bamboo. It cannot be. I mean, there's so many other things. And so it's more like because of comparison that people say shortcomings. That's another. There's one more which is there, that's bamboo. The diameter keeps on decreasing as you go up. And also the density of the gaze of bamboo decreases as you go up, and from inside to out and from bottom to top. So that's how, because bamboo keeps growing, that's how it happens. So you have to be careful how to really use them. But if you do it carefully, we know that mud buildings are there, 700 years old also. We have bamboo buildings which are 400 years old. and they are there with the same bamboos still inside them. So it's how you use them and how you do it is what matters. And one more thing people ask me is the height of bamboo. How high bamboo can actually put into, you can put it into a multi-storied building. Do you have steel pipes more than 20 feet? You don't. You can get 20 feet bamboo as well. So, and as I said again, you have to use the material the way it should be used. So bamboo is not so good in compression. So I would not really say that, straight bamboo columns are very good in compression, but one can find a solution as to how to go about it. That is there. So it's more like your designing skill, your material, knowledge makes you work with the material in a way that you can find solutions. You can do floor beams. You can do your whole walling with bamboo-crete walling and things. You can do your old doors, windows with bamboo. Who is saying that you do everything with bamboo? And why should, only cement cannot make house, only steel cannot make a house or a building, then why bamboo is asked to make everything in a building? I don't get it ever, actually. It has to be a composite way to work. And that's only then we can actually mainstream these building materials back again. Because we were using it in combination with other things. And I am saying this because I feel very strongly about it, because yes, there are lots of Instagrammable all bamboo buildings, and you see these captions of it has got so many kilometers of bamboo and all those kind of things. I do not know what they are trying to say or achieve. Because that way, bamboo, people try to say bamboo, a grass can save the world. Bamboo cannot save the world if you use it in that kind of a manner, because that cost, the amount of processing that they do to show it in that kind of a format, 20,000 rupees a square feet, 25,000 rupees a square feet is abnormal to actually use. And it has no purpose. And how many people in the population in the world can actually be able to use bamboo? That's one. And the people, the masses who actually, I have been working for those people who actually, if you see my buildings, they are very everyday buildings. They are not bamboo buildings for the rich people all the time. These are for everyday uses. And if you do not have that, then it cannot be mainstreamed. And for that, we have to have very grounded approach towards a material and not a very fancy kind of a thing, which is again going to go to, and the poor person, a farmer, will sell it to the rich people because he'll get more money. And I'll tell you a very funny story. I was looking for some people to work with me on my community center project in Ooty, because we don't have a big team. I'm an NGO. I have just 2 people. I got quotations from people for those bamboo, for the huts and this one. They gave me 10,000 rupees a square feet, Indians. 8,000 rupees a square feet. I mean, does it make sense? It does not. And they give that to me, who has working with bamboo. I know the ins and out of bamboo and the buildings, how much they can cost. You can do a reasonably very good A-class building within 2,500 to 3,000 rupees per square feet. And somebody gives me that cost, that kind of a cost. And there's something definitely drastically wrong. And this is something which has been really, these are the things which are inhibiting the spread of bamboo and mud, which are again a section of people in the name of using bamboo fashionably and trying to win this sudden, brownie points. They're really spoiling the whole the purpose of people like us and many others who are trying to seriously promote bamboo for mainstream and the common man. And that's a very serious issue. I think I've gone. I'll keep on going. I'm sorry. If you ask me, it'll keep on happening. So, yeah.
Yeah, we have one more question. I think Areen sir, ma'am, both of you can answer this. it is about when you guys are using the indigenous materials or traditional methods of building, are there any challenges when it comes to workmanship of building these designs?
Workmanship, yes, because precisely for that reason, actually, I started my courses that I have started, and they are, but I still do not get people, and especially after COVID, it has become even more challenging because people don't come from other states and all that to work for me, and I mean, and I'm sure everyone faces the same problem. So because of that, but workmanship, if I know how to do it, what I want, and so then we have to see, they know the techniques, many of them, especially if you are talking about building. See, there's craft, and craft, they have a finish because it's a small product. But when you're talking about a building, it's at a very large scale. And for that, we actually have to train them to come to, like, if you say in 1 in 10 scale, they would be somewhere at 6. Then to bring it down, bring it to them to 8 or 9, we actually keep on speaking to them and treating, I mean, what do you say, training them all the time. I have been taking classes of my artisans from the year 2000 at site. That's how it started. So I do that. But it is a challenge.
Yeah, Areen sir, would you like to answer the same question?
I am of the opinion that if there's some open-mindedness, then anyone can learn. So if some people ask me, do you have your teams? And I say, yes, I've trained some people, but I'm happy to work with anyone who has a little bit of open-mindedness to learn and to do something different, or to try something that they have done before and then bring it back, like a revitalization. So I think there's a lot of people who are working towards, towards this in terms of an art. There are actually a lot. There are training centers as well. There's one training center in Maharashtra, just outside of Pune, and then there's a Hunar Gurukul. There is Hunar Shala has a training program. It's free for any artisan who wants to go there and learn. So there are a lot of people, like Neelam ma'am also said, and has trained a lot of people. We also train them, and actually I enjoy training them. Because we developed our practice through hands-on work. um, I when the opportunity comes to jump in the mud, I'm so happy. If I have the time to do it, I would love to jump in, and I would love to just join the building team. That's the dream for me, to actually build myself, and enjoy that.
Okay. We have a question from a student. Um, they say India promotes sustainable construction through SDGs, but bamboo is still treated as or perceived as a very temporary and rural material. Why do you think there is a gap like that? I think both of you can answer this.
Because bamboo doesn't grow in England. That was something which Vinu Kale said, that he was trying to find a reason as to why it is like this. And then he said, because bamboo doesn't grow in the West the way it grows in our place, because most of the time we are looking towards the West and the North. And it is the colonization which brought this thing, actually.
Yeah.
And it is happening, but it's still very slow. And just for example, I would say when the British Raj was there, the Raj Bhavans were made in Northeast. It was the same, the walling system, that is wattle and daub, what we call there, but there's a different name for that in out there. But it will be with teak wood for the Raj Bhavan, and the same technique for the lower class, or you can say a citizen or person, will be with bamboo. So bamboo became a poor man's timber at that time. Otherwise, it was not. I mean, that's how the things are. So slowly, as everything else, bamboo became a poor man's timber, which we are now several years, many people like us. I mean, as a World Bamboo Ambassador, we are around 56 people in 30 countries trying to change that perception. But yeah, bamboo needs that
I think
actually.
not just bamboo, but even earth is looked down upon. Essentially,
Yeah.
we are a
Yes.
status-driven society. For us, it's roti, kapda, makan. We have to have these things. Then, if you see the evolution of first, I will have money, I'll buy a bicycle. Then I'll have some more money, I'll buy a motorbike. I get more money, I'll buy a car, and then I'll buy an SUV. And I need my status to be very well established in society. And because of colonization and things like this, we are not able to value some of the things that we have, right? And I find this unique and interesting because I feel like in a lot of handicrafts, we've managed to look at our handicrafts and say that, okay, we are capable of producing handicrafts. I feel like when we look at clothing, we have this we have such a rich culture of Indian heritage clothing. At the same time, we have a combination of Western clothing with Indian clothing. Like you'll wear kurta on jeans. At the same time, then you have you have value associated with what was there. And in architecture, unfortunately, that hasn't happened. What has happened is that we look at our own stuff thinking that this is not good, and now the people in the rural areas are looking at people in the cities. In the cities, we are looking at people in the West and just blindly aping that to just get respect and status. If you talk to people in these, if you know someone who has an earthen home or a bamboo home, and you ask them, they'll tell you they love living there, but they would still land up living in the new home, which is made out of modern materials of concrete and brick and things like this, because of people don't get married into homes where they have if they have an earthen home, if they have an earthen cookware. Now urban areas, yeah, everyone is setting their curd in mitti ka hi bartan. So it's complicated. India is so complex and so complicated, but it's there's no black and white answer.
I would like to just place one very funny example of a workshop. We do a lot of workshops. And recently, especially after COVID, the number of students coming for the workshops are very less. But in the meanwhile, this Bali style has really gone all over the net. And we have Indian colleges going to Bali and doing bamboo workshop there. But the students don't come for workshops in India. And they would spend, and if I say it is for 5 days, it is 10,000 rupees. And then they would say, oh, why should be 10,000 rupees? But they would buy the ticket to Bali, they will spend on the hotel, they will go there, they'll probably pay $330 for the workshop out there and come back learning from a carpenter out there. So they prefer that, So it's a very funny thing we have been facing, because if I really talk, I'm in the bamboo sector. CGBMT, that's my organization, was the first in the world to have a structured course, which is BAT, which is called Bamboo Application Technology course, rolled out in 2011, but started in 2006. And Orin Hardy from Bamboo U actually wrote me a mail to ask for the curriculum that I have been running in my organization. And so we have had many, including workshops that we have been, and the people doing bamboo workshops at the beginning of the century. Yeah, I mean this year. But somehow things shifted so this shortcut to fashion, shortcut to those kind of things, because I don't have money to bombarding so many videos on the social media and keep on telling that no, this is not like that. It's difficult for us. And that's another reason, because So even if people are going to use bamboo, they will use bamboo for that kind of a structure, which can only be somebody in India who can afford 5,000, 8,000 square feet will have bamboo buildings, not the ones.
Yeah. I think we have a lot of questions in our chat box, and to all the participants, I'd like to say that we'll have them sent to Areen sir and ma'am. For the lack of time right now, we'll send it to them, and for sure we'll get them answered. I think we are reaching towards the end of the session now, so I would like to begin by thanking all the participants here for the wonderful questions, and of course the speakers, Areen sir and ma'am, for your thoughtful responses. It's been really inspiring to hear how both of you are talking about ideas of material sustainability and community in design. And with that, I'd like to hand it back to Ramya for closing the session. Thank you very much again.
Thank you, Shivani. So thank you, Neelamji and Areenji. And thank you to every student, faculty, and all the other participants who joined us today. It was a huge number we got to see, and it is really exciting to see that all of you are interested in such conversations, and we look forward to having such sessions moving forward. So we have heard today. What we have heard today reminds us that materials are never neutral. They carry meaning, memory, and consequence. Every choice we make, what we build with, where it comes from, how long it lasts, shapes not just form but futures that respond to climate realities, respect ecosystems, and remain accountable to the people who inhabit these spaces. In the context of climate action, materials become acts of responsibility. They ask us to move beyond convenience and aesthetics and towards care, longevity, and regeneration. Change does not arrive from elsewhere, it begins with intention. Through each material we select, each system we question, and each space we choose to build with awareness. You are the reason we do this work. May today's conversation inspire you with both imagination and responsibility. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you at the next Sense and Sensibility session. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Yeah,
Thank
too.
you.
God bless. Bye.
Okay.